this next interview, but we need to get it to you. Look at these images like these in Lower Manhattan. They are disturbing for just about anybody, but imagine if you owned lots of property in the area. We've got somebody who does, not to mention property in Coney Island and Brooklyn. Joe Sitt is the president of Thor Equities, with thousands and thousands of square footage of real estate in the hardest hit areas. And by the way, you just tried to get in on the Brooklyn Bridge. They tried to keep you from coming, because now this is kicking in, folks, and you had heard this earlier, and now it has started. Mayor Bloomberg says no more cars with just one person in them. But how'd you get across?
We told them we're coming to visit Fox Business.
And the parting of the Red Sea happened. All right, well, we're glad you made it. Thank you very much. But again, that's something for you to know, that the Brooklyn Bridge is now only allowing people across with more than people in the car. Coney Island Holdings, you've got property there. That's where the big IKEA area, the Red Hook Pier is the IKEA area. You've got luxury residential towers in on Greenwich Street. What is happening? What's the status of your properties?
All over the city, there's pain, but the pain is especially concentrated in two areas. One, waterfront communities. For example, we've got properties along Red Hook, Coney Island, and of course in Lower Manhattan on Greenwich. 460 unit development had to be vacated. People have to find hotel rooms for 460 families. Quite challenging. And then you've got still 50% of New York City off. No email, no lights, no office space. It's a bit of bedlam in the lower part of Manhattan.
Joe, have you been touring your properties?
Yes, visiting every single property.
What's the worst hit that you saw, and what did it look like? Describe it.
Actually, the worst hit, we made a visit to go see a development down on the Jersey Shore, and I saw it literally wipe out Long Branch.
Which? Long Branch.
Long
okay.
Branch, New Jersey. That was even worse than what we've seen here in New York. I'd say after that, it's been the Wall Street area, the amount of flooding. Coney Island was literally underwater. And then last but not least, wasn't mine, but one of my fellow developers had the crane, the broom on 57th Street.
Oh,
that's
sure.
up there. And he's, in fact, I just hung up with him about 2 minutes ago.
That building is called 157, supposed to be the tallest residential tower in New York.
Gary's got quite a challenge there. They've got to figure out how to either get the boom down if they can, and then, of course, get one to back up, or what they might do is chop it into little pieces.
Yeah, oh, jeez. I don't know if you have pictures of that crane, but the fact is that the crane is just socking in Midtown Manhattan, and I know it's not your property, but you, having spoken to Gary, who is owner of that property, I heard that they were going to have to build another crane that's 90 stories high to take down the other one.
That's if they go, it depends on whether they do the easier or tougher route. One of the other alternatives is cutting into pieces and pulling in stretches inside. And Excel happens to be what I think is one of the best developers in New York City. So if anybody can handle it, it's Gary Barnett.
Why didn't they take, I mean, if you were building a building and you knew a huge hurricane were coming, would you have taken the crane down, or is that not logistically possible?
Not logistically. It would have literally taken over a month to do it. They had engineers visit the site. They did the wise thing, which is put it in the flex position to allow the play, similar to what they did at the World Trade Center site. But even in spite of the play, here the crane, literally the metal snapped on the building. You
seem remarkably calm, despite the fact that you, at least on the Jersey Shore, have one property, as I understand it, that's destroyed. What's going on in your mind right now?
It's more than there. It's Lower Manhattan. It's Coney Island.
You insured? How does this work?
If I panic, I think that then my team will panic. We actually, our corporate office on 39th Street, we have no power. So we're literally relocating hundreds of people throughout Manhattan. And so the leaders got to stay calm. The biggest thing is dealing with the challenges, how to get generators. Now we're going to be shipping in generators from Florida and Texas.
Okay, hold on 1 second. We've got the President of the United States.
The United States is in brigantine.